Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this morning's webinar led by myself, Dan Booth, m-hance, an introduction to Power BI for Business Central. What I want to do, just start a bit of a welcoming introduction, because there are some people on the call that I haven't spoken to before. So apologies if you have spoken to me and about certain things previously, but just a quick recap. I'm Dan. I joined m-hance 8 years ago now as systems accountant with a focus on reporting, really, when m-hance had a few other operations. Just to go through and sort of get the sort of analytics that was needed at the time, the advanced analytics. And my background is senior qualified accountant, so all finance based really, but also across other bits of an operation. So a whiz of hidden tabs on Excel spreadsheets, macros, lookups, and all that sort of thing, connecting to SQL because we were using GP at the time, and just going through that. Now, obviously, that had a shelf life, as I was aware of, and opportunities have arose since m-hance for me to work with other Microsoft products in the portfolio, the newest sort of Microsoft products such as the Power Platform, including Power BI, as we're going to see today, and Business Central. So I've really have had the time to work from a finance point of view, get to understand not just the products, but a number of customers in the charity sector and the other sectors that we deal with here at m-hance. So, hopefully over the next 40 minutes or so, I can give you a preview of how Power BI and the reporting side linking to Business Central can really advance your reporting requirements in your organizations. A couple of bits of housekeeping. During the session, all the lines will be set to mute to avoid any unnecessary noise interference. And at any point during the presentation, please feel free to type questions into the chat panel at the right hand side. And what I'll do, I'll answer them offline after the session. Quite often, in a lot of these sessions, the questions that we get asked are a bit organisational specific. So if you can put them down, enter them at any time during the presentation that you want to. If you think of a question, I will respond to these questions afterwards via email, or if you prefer, you can leave it till the very end, and my contact details will be provided on the final slide, so you'll be able to get in contact with me. A bit of an agenda. So, this is an introduction to Power BI. So I want to go through what Power BI is, how it can address the common reporting issues, talk about how, and there's a few different types of Power BI licensing that you can get. So I want to go through the different licenses just so that everybody has an understanding of that. We'll then go into a demo. I'll show you how to connect to the data, how to make more pages in Business Central accessible via Power BI. We'll create a couple of quick reports on creditors. And then I'll go through sort of the advanced elements of Power BI, the collaboration, the publishing, auto-refreshing, dashboard creation and things like that. And then we'll have a wrap up at the end where I will promote m-hance and how we can help you in your organization get the full capabilities out of Power BI. So we start off with what is Power BI for those who haven't seen it before. And I think it's key to understand what Power BI does, because there is misconceptions about it being a sort of management only reporting tool, and yes, it is that, but it also can work to any level of an organization, giving any user really quick access to their data. But what is Power BI? So it's interactive. As I said there, we can create the nice graphs, we can create the nice dashboards, but we can create reports, tables, and to appeal to all levels of people wanting to report via Power BI. We can add slices, filters, really getting down from one report and filtering down the data to what you need it to be, so filtering on dimensions, things like that, really quickly, date parameters, potential suppliers, things like that. Very, very visual, very, very easy for users to really filter down to the information they want to see. It's also live, so it connects directly to the live data sources. You're not exporting anything to Excel and then connecting via Excel. Power BI connects live to Business Central. You have the ability via Power BI Pro licensing to schedule in to auto refresh, or you can just press the refresh button and it will refresh the data as of then. And the other thing as well, and this is sort of advanced areas, we're focusing on Business Central today, but It can also connect to multiple data sources. So if you're a customer who has CRM with us, as Salesforce, for example, and we're sort of working integration with that, we can load in multiple data sources into Power BI so you can get the most of your Business Central data, but also report on data from other sources, all within the Power BI model, which really does enable 360-degree view reporting for organizations. As you would expect now, it's mobile, it's cloud-based, it's Power BI once you publish online. So mobile tablet devices, you can access this information. You can review this information as long as you've got any kind of data connection. And everything that you see today, the reports, the dashboards, things like that, once we've published it, I'm showing on a laptop, but the same functionality is on a mobile device as well. So easily accessible data to different levels of people in your organization. They don't need to be on premise, they don't need to be in front of a laptop. And one of the biggest things that I used to hate doing as a finance person was sharing spreadsheets with all these hidden tabs, because if somebody knew what they were doing, they could get to the underlying data and start playing around with it. What Power BI does is it says we share reports with the users, and you can share reports with users who are not licensed in BC. So you don't need to give people a Business Central license to give them access to reporting in Power BI of BC data. Your dashboards are there. You're not sharing the source data, you're sharing the report to the level of drill down on the report that you create. And what that allows people to do, and allows us to do, is it allows any organization from any sector to ensure that the stakeholders have the access to the right information that they need at the right level at the right time, taking away the reliance on finance having to create these reports as somebody within your organization, having to create the reports, email the reports. They're almost become self-serving, so it's very, very informative and closes that loop on collaboration as well. Whenever I do these sort of sessions, Microsoft always like me to throw this in. Power BI is a world-leading reporting platform. For charities, pricing is extremely cheap, and I don't often say that as a finance person. For non-charities, it's still very, very cheap for the functionality that you get. But as you can see here on the sort of analysis and analytics where people go in and contrast and compare reporting platforms, Microsoft is a leader in the latest Magic Quadrant from March 2022, and the last Forrester wave I can get hold of at present, which is Q3 2021. As you can see there, it's a leading reporting platform. This isn't a reporting platform that you invest in today and you're going to have to reinvest in 12 months' time. This is something that Microsoft continue to throw money out, continue to develop, continue to make easier, and provide more sort of visuals and more sort of easier ways of connecting to data. And because this is a section for BC customers, I can honestly say, you can see in your homepage on Business Central, Power BI is embedded in there because they want you to use Power BI reporting as well as the sort of system reporting that you get out of BC. But before I get sort of into the demo, and I don't want to kill everybody by PowerPoint, what Power BI does, and we don't just back something from Microsoft for the sake of it. Microsoft have a lot of products in the portfolio, but we did some real research on this and how Power BI can be used in organizations, including our own at m-hance. And when we talk to customers through our own sorts of experiences, through speaking to customers who are currently on older systems and want to look at moving or advancing their reporting sort of capabilities, these are the reporting the sort of common reporting issues that come up. If I take from the left, we've got resource intensive. So I mentioned it before. Reports being created by finance manually. You're always creating the reports more than likely in the vast majority of sort of examples. People are creating the reports after the journals have been done, the check-ins been done, and they've been tailoring the reports to other people in their organization. That means these reports, by the time they get circulated, are quite late, 20th of the month, and you're starting the process again 10 days later for your month end. Means reactive instead of proactive. Your siloed systems, you know, if you have multiple systems, it makes it very, very difficult. And you have specialists in each area. You might have a specialist AP person, you might have a specialist GL person. There's not sort of a consistency in there with regards to your reports looking the same, non-dependent on what area of an organisation it is. Your content and distribution, as I said before, emailing reports out, too easy to ignore an email. And making the reports easy to understand for non-financial people was something that was done. And the biggest thing that was said, and the misinformation element of it, was real common statement. Source data being manipulated, exporting to Excel, putting it into a system, deleting some lines, because you can do that if it's bad data. That meant there's no one version of the truth. And going back to what I said before, by the time the report is saying, you're starting it again, and you've probably got another month's worth of issues potentially in the system because of the timing element of it. Now, what Power BI can do, it can mitigate these. I'm not saying it reduces the risk of a lot of them, but it mitigates the risk on these common reporting. So resource intensive, the auto refreshing of the data, the live data. So once you've created your reports, you can have these reports refreshing every hour, you know, up to 8 days. Some reports you just want refreshing overnight. That means that you can come in the next morning and you can see your month-end reports building up as transactions are being posted on them. An example of that, and for the non-NFPs on the call, we use Power BI m-hance. We use Business Central m-hance. We have, you know, we probably bill you SAS in advance, support in advance. Our recurring revenues were initially built and done via spreadsheets. Now that we're using Business Central and we've got Power BI, we can actually see the way that the transactions are posted and they post into the future months. We can see the information coming through. We can see that sort of revenue coming through by customer, by project even, because they are our dimensions. And what it allows us to do is be more proactive on, have we missed billing somebody? Has somebody cancelled in that month? Because the reports are set there and nobody's going through and creating them. The data is just auto-populating as transactions are being posted. The siloed systems bit, you know, multiple systems, multiple areas. Well, you can load multiple sources, multiple tables from one source into a Power BI report, or you can load multiple sources into the Power BI report. And the real skill of Power BI is the relationships, understanding what relationships need to be made between the tables within the Power BI model. And we'll touch on that shortly, actually, when I go and create a sort of debtors report. We then got the content and distribution. So, as I mentioned before, Power BI, when you publish it, you share these reports. You're not sharing the source data, you're sharing to the level of drill down that you want on the report. But you're not giving, well, you can do, but in general, you won't be giving access to the individual to go away and start creating reports themselves, trying to cut it up slightly differently. A report is done, a report is complete, a report has the level of drill down that is needed. And users, budget holders, for example, can access that report and see the level of data that they need, actual V budget, all that sort of stuff. And you can create the, you know, different visuals for different people based on what appeals to them the most and what they're going to engage with the most. And, you know, the information bit on the misinformation, the fact it connects directly to the sources means, you know, you're all going to see the same numbers. I can't say people aren't going to interpret them differently, but it also drives the right behaviours, because if there is a misposting, if you're doing it in Excel, it's very, very easy to change it in Excel, potentially forget to sort it in the source system and make that change. Because our reporting and Power BI connects to the source data, if there is a misposting, to get that looking right in Power BI, you've got to go and change it in the source data. You've got to go into BC, correct that transaction, make it look right, so that Power BI brings the reporting in the format that you need. I always say this on Power BI, the first thing Power BI does in implementation of an organisation is highlight the bad data. You expect the data to be how you expect it to be. It highlights bad data. I tell this story quite a bit, but I was working with an organisation quite a while ago now in Power BI, probably 18 months ago. And the first thing they said is, well, that's wrong. There's a number in there from 2017 that's completely wrong. And I was a bit like, it can't be. It's linking to the sources. And when they looked into it, their auditors have missed it, their system has missed it. I don't quite understand how everything balanced, but that's another conversation. But they've missed that transaction, and it wasn't in any of their reporting or outputs from their current system. And you think about it and you go, right, okay, it's linking to the data. If your data is bad, it will highlight that bad data. If your data is good, that you would expect, it will just show what you would expect. So it does drive the right behaviours. It drives that data governance, making sure that the system is correct. And as part of that, and as part of doing that, what you're making sure is everybody sees the same data, so it's the same Power BI report. As I said, it cannot stop people interpreting it differently, but there will be no different versions of the truth within your organisation should you get the Power BI implementation right. And before we get into the system, what I'd like to do is to go through the different licensing types, because when we talk to customers, there are a number of different licensing types that are out there. And it's really keen for us to say which ones really do add the most benefit. So we have Power BI Desktop. This is a free tool. This is where we create the reports. This is where we email you the sort of desktop report. You can download it yourself free. We can build the reports there as we do. And they are for personal use. So you can click a refresh button, it will go away and refresh that data. There's no collaboration, there's no accessing that via the cloud or via a mobile device. It's literally to create something that you have on your own system that you can use instead of publishing it to the online if you wanted to do that. There is a Power BI free license. Now, this allows you as a user to publish your completed desktop report to the system. It doesn't allow you to schedule in for auto refresh, but it allows you to put it into an online environment that you can click a manual button to refresh it as and when, and you can see it via mobile and tablet devices. But again, that's for personal use only. It will not let you share that report with other users in your organization. This is for personal use and personal sort of report management. We then have Power BI Pro licenses, which is the ones that we sort of concentrate on, because a lot of Power BI is about collaboration. To get the most out of it, this is where you share reports with other Power BI Pro license holders. You can schedule in your data for auto refreshes. You can create your dashboards. You can create report subscriptions, so it emails individuals in your organization with a PDF image of a dashboard at the same time. And this is aimed at 0 to 500 users. So that's the real collaboration element. And then you've also got what they call Power BI Premium. This is for huge organizations. As you can see there, it caters for data sets with multi-million rows of data very, very quickly. You can have it set up every 20 minutes during a working day if you want to refresh in the schedule, which I don't quite understand why you would if you have multi-million rows of data. But it's aimed at huge organizations, 500 plus users using it regularly. And what this is licensed on, it's not per user, it's licensed on capacity. So they'll see how much data that you're consuming through the models and license it based on that. And that's for your large scale organizations. So the two that we really concentrate on here at m-hance is Desktop, Power BI Pro. Create the reports in desktop, play around the reports in desktop. We always send you the desktop files because they are what we hand over as part of any implementation. But your real benefit is a Power BI Pro licensing model here, where you get the real benefit, your auto refresh, your dashboards, your collaboration elements, which is what you're trying to do, I'm assuming, in your organization, get the right level of detail to the right people at the right time. So let's have a look now. Enough PowerPoint for the moment. That's 20 minutes of PowerPoint. Let's have a look at Power BI. Let's connect some data just to give organizations that haven't used it before. It is an introduction, so it will be quite basic level, but we'll go through how to expose tables, how to connect to the data, and how to create a really quick report through the system. So Power BI Desktop. This is, like I said, free download. You can open Power BI Desktop at any time. You can download it, and you get this sort of initial screen. You have to go away and get data. So if I go in to get data, you've got a number of different sort of common connections. But if we click on more, Business Central has, and it will bring up a list here of all the sort of standard inbuilt connections that Power BI adds to the different data sources that are set up. You've got, we've got all the data flows, we've got different things here, we've got teams, we've got everything that you would need really. You can connect via RDBC, SQL to your other systems. But I'm just going to search here for Business Central. There is a connection to both Business Central Online and Business Central On-Premise. Make sure you choose the right one. If I go into Business Central Online, what that will do then, and my sort of connection details are in here already. Based on your Office Connect, you'll have to put in just some connection details, your Office details. But these will provide you then, this is our Business Central. These are our environments within our Business Central. So if I just expand on that, these are our companies in Business Central. So if I quickly flick to Business Central and click on my settings, I look at my companies. These are the companies in Business Central. So if I go back to here, and I'm going to go to Save the Donor, we can connect, and Microsoft are moving to an API model. They are keep going, and every update has more APIs, more connections via APIs. You can connect via the standard APIs that we have in the system. So if I like to look at age accounts payables, we've got the details in here, vendor numbers, and things like that, all the details of this. And these APIs are getting better. However, even though it says legacy, it doesn't mean it's not the old way of connecting at present is probably the best way of connecting via web services. And these are, if I open web services, these are all the tables that are currently transposed into Power BI from BC that I can connect to. So, if I go to a fixed asset card, if I wanted to just quickly look at a preview, I can just click on it, and this will tell me a bit of a preview of all the fields that are on that we can bring into the model on fixed assets. And these are all the fields that are either on the fixed asset card in BC or hidden fields in Business Central. Now, it could well be that you may come to it and think, and one of the pages I want, the table I want, isn't showing in this list. Well, you can get that sorted really, really quickly. So if you come into Business Central, click on the icon here and put web services. All the pages that are on there are all listed here. So if I wanted to add a new page and transpose it into BC, I can come in, I can select from full list, I can come in here and think, well, actually I want something on bank. And what this will do, this will search for every table in the page in the system with bank on it. Probably should have chosen something with less on it. But you can see here, we've got all these tables: bank account, report selection, bank account recs, customer bank list, posted bank deposits. And all you need to do is click on this and put a name in here. And tick this publish button. When I move now, that's been published. Now, the one thing I will say, this could take up to 5 minutes to come through and be available in the Power BI list. So just to save a bit of time, what I did earlier, I created one this morning with DB test 2. It's an analysis view entry. It was just something that we did. Right, I'm going to click on refresh and hope it comes through quickly, but if it doesn't, we'll just go into here. If it doesn't, I can show you the one that I did this morning, just to, I can't remember whether it was possible, but you can see I'm hoping that was the one. If I click on there, I probably don't have a bank deposit in actually. Yeah, the table's empty. But you can see there, it's very quick. It's within 5 minutes. The DB test one that I did this morning is there. You can see it. You can access that data. So from this point now, you will think, and you've got to understand where your data is coming from. But if I was doing a accounts receivable transaction, report on accounts receivable. I know I'm going to want the customer card. The customer card detail is my sales, customers in the system, all the fields that are related there. So I'd tick on customer card. I'd want customer ledger entries, and I might want customer posting groups as well. So if we've got our different posting groups, I might want to split up what we've got by the different types. So I tick down here. You can carry on ticking as much as you want to, and you click load. Now what that's doing at this point, this is going away. It's going to bring back, as of this very second, all the detail in the system to bring into Power BI. And that depending on how much data there is in the tables, it can take a period of time. But what I've now got at the right hand side here are my three tables that I've loaded in. Over here on the right hand side, if I want to see the data behind that, I can see what fields are in what table. If I go to customer ledger entries, I've got that here. If I go to customer posting groups, I've got all the information from these tables in there already. But if I come into here now, and if I wanted to create a report with, from the customer table, a name, I just drag it in, a number. And then I'm thinking, well, actually, I wanted to see what the remaining balance is from the customer ledger entries, the outstanding balance, the remaining balance against each account. If I put that in, I get a really silly value. And that's because there's no relationship in the model between the customer card table and the customer ledger entries table. So you have to, and this is where the skill of Power BI is, it's in this relationship creation. So if I come into here now and go to modeling and manage relationships, I have to create the relationships between the tables in the model. If I come in here and click new, and it is as simple as saying, right, well, customer card, and I'm going to create one to customer posting groups. So my customer posting group code there, I know that customer posting group is in this list because I assign a customer posting group against customer card, and there it is. Now Power BI is clever enough to know I could have many customer posting groups against one customer posting group in the customer posting group table. You don't duplicate in the customer posting group table. That said many to one. And I'm going to make that cross filter direction both. And then I'm thinking, right, okay, well, also what I need is to create a relationship between customer card and customer ledger entries. And you just got to think, what is the best relationship? Well, you're going to have one account number, and you're going to have account number against every one of your customer ledger entries. So that has worked out one to many. You've got one account number against, and you could have many transactions against that account number. Click both. Click on OK and click close. Now what this will do, straight away, that's now given me, this has updated this table. Because now the relationship is there, it knows to allocate our remaining amounts by these different values. And now I've not got, oh, that silly 441, the total value against every customer. I've got it straight away by, because of the relationships, it understands that it needs to segment. And then, you know, just to show you that can work, I can go to a customer posting group. If I put description and I put it over here and put that as a slicer, I can now filter down by all my different posting groups because there's a relationship between my customer posting group table to the customer card table, which then filters it, and the relationship between the customer card table and the remaining amount tables. So, you know, you can really build this up now. So from my customer account, I might want document number. So I could put that in here. I might want to put document date, due date. I can have that there. So what you're doing, you're really building up what this table is. And then you can sort of start thinking about, well, how do I want to do this? If that remaining value is 0, do I really want this in this list? So I can come in here against the filter and say, is not 0. And there you go, there's the list. And then, you know, you're just building the report to show what you want it to do. You might want that to be a summarized table where it doesn't show a number per document. Clicking on the visuals and deciding which visual is the best is very, very simple. So, you know, this matrix is like a pivot table. I don't want customers there. I might want due date here. And I might want that now to be due date by date hierarchy, where I show it by year and month. And all I'm doing there, that is now outstanding age receivables by due date month. You know, for forecasting. It's done, it's there, it's ready to go. And yeah, what we can do then is once you've built this table or built this report, I can, if I just resize it to something that looks silly, I can copy it, Control C, Control and V. Let me do it right, that would always help. Control C, Control and V. And this will now create a new report. So if I just do that, and they're both intertwined with each other, but maybe I now want that to show me something in graphical format. You can see now, I've now got this value by when it is, when it's outstanding, by the periods. I've got the detail here. If I want to click on Birmingham College, it shows me what elements of it. You can see here, darker numbers. And all you're doing is building up that table, changing your visuals, and doing what you need to on your visuals. Not really that difficult. And at present now, this is just me doing this, and I can go in, I can pause, I can refresh, I can build what I need to build. When it comes to, these are the tables all in PC. We can do whatever we want. We can create these reports. You can create one for yourself. Whilst it's in this desktop file, only you can see it. There's nobody else can see this in your organization, unless you decide to email it them and then they can play around with it. But this is it. This is what we've got. And you can build this up to be what you want it to be. And that's where, we build our Power BI reporting packs. I'm sure most of you know, all of you know, hopefully, that we have a Power BI reporting pack for VC that we pre-build. And this report here, you can see it has got all the tables in, all the table relationships. We have debtors, customer turnover, income analysis, nice graphs of where your customers and vendors are, GL entries where we can drill down. We've done this, and the real skill of this gives everybody a real starter for 10, because it can go away. They know the reports are created, they know the tables have got the relationships in the background. You've got tables on your income statement monthly. We've got tables on, if I go to the SOFA report, by your dimensions. So dimension 1, fund type, dimension 2, department, dimension 3, events, dimension 4, campaigns, dimension 5, project. They're just your dimensions in your system. Linking to your chart of accounts. That is all done because we've built the relationships between all the tables in the system already to do that. And you can move and you can start, and it gives you that real leg up of an organization. But again, whilst it's in desktop, everything is on its own. It's one person clicking a manual refresh. When you want to share that throughout your organization, that's when you click the publish button. And publishing it means you're publishing it to an online environment, which, if I just come out of Business Central, is here. You can see this report is named Save the Dodo Power BI Report 2021. This is it in the system. If I just open the report in the system, the first thing you see when you publish it, you do not see all the tables at the right-hand side. That means the report is done, dusted, ready to go. It's ready to share with other individuals. People still have, I go to the SOFA, you still have the level of drill down that is provided within the reporting pack. You still go down to transactional level if you want to. And once it's done as well, I mean, you've always got the ability. Yeah, if you want to see what's behind a number, if I right click on that number and show data point as table, that gives me the level of detail underneath it. You can see here, we've got the values, we've got the expense categories, you've got your supplier that's come to, even if it's a supplier. And with everything as you know, we've always got this. You can do this from the desktop as well. With every report, if I right click on a number, show data points table, we're accountants at the end of the day. You can export that data into CSV, and if it's a lot of information, you can interrogate the data in CSV. So you've got to bear in mind what that's done is technically turn the whole reporting, traditional reporting way on its head. You built the report. If you want to interrogate the data behind it, you can do it in Excel. Not interrogate the data in Excel first and then put it into the reporting format. But once it's in the system and you published it, this is where you get the benefit. So you can share the reports with other users. Click on the share button. If I go into here and I'm in my test system, so if I put James, these are other users in the system that I might want to share our report with. You want to include the changes that you've made. You've got the option, you can share it via Teams, you can share a copy link, you can do all that, but you're sharing the report, you're not emailing the report. And what that means is when they come into the system and they get a sharing link, within the system, you have a somewhere shared with me section. Let me see, and these are all the reports. You can see, yeah, this is a report not by me, I'm not the owner. You can come in, you can click on it, and it's just there. You can see all the reports that you've got access to in the one place. And if I actually go there, you can see shared with me. These are all the reports that have been shared with me from different people. All that, and you're still getting the same level of access. We also have what they call this subscribe option, and this is something that a lot of customers don't know about. You are always going to have in the system somebody who you can give them access to the reports as much as you want to. They're not going to go and look. This subscribe option allows you to email a PDF image of a page of a report or a dashboard to individuals in your organization at a set time every day. So an example of that is our CFO at the end of the day, an RFC, get an email that sends to them at 5 o'clock saying how much cash has been received that day, what the bank balances are that day, what is over 90 days overdue, which customers haven't paid at the end of that day, and what creditors we should have paid as of today that are overdue based on the due date. And that comes out to them every day. They can see again cash collections against target, they can see income against target, against budget. They can have a dashboard, and that dashboard is emailed out to them at 5 o'clock every day. There's sort of an end of day wrap up for what's coming in the day. An example of it is here. So if I just go into my personal emails, I've got one here. This is what you get. You don't get access to be able to click on the dashboard. It is just a PDF. Let me just open that. It's just a PDF image of a Power BI dashboard or a report. Comes in every day, set time, and this one sent to me every day at 1 o'clock. And that was yesterday's. Just for examples, for demos and things like that. What you could also do on these reports, and I've mentioned dashboards a lot. You could have, our reporting pack, your reports could be 5, 6, 7, 8 pages long, however you want to do it. But you might want to create a dashboard so that somebody else in your organization just gets snapshots of some areas. So if I go to our income analysis page, if I hover over a icon, you can see this little pin icon over a visual. So maybe I'm looking at this income by account, and I like that. Actually, I prefer this, top 5 customers by income. And I want to create a dashboard. And the dashboard might have other things, you might have your bank balances, like I say, things like that. If I click on Pin Visual, I have the opportunity to create a new dashboard, an existing dashboard. I'm just going to connect it to our test dashboard and click Pin and go to that dashboard. This dashboard now has, as you can see here, and I can resize all these. This is a dashboard. Different things. I've got different accounts from different places, from different sorts of account. I've got a couple of things duplicated because I use this for demos. But you can see here, I've got a nice dashboard of individual visuals that can be across many different reports So this could be, you know, if you were using Power BI for BC, you were using Power BI for CRM, you know, you could have a nice dashboard that brings together in one place a couple of key visuals, and you can share just the dashboard. You can subscribe to just the dashboard. And it always goes back to getting the right level of information to the right people at the right time. And that's what Power BI for organizations does, without having to keep doing and creating these reports on a monthly basis. Somebody manually having to do them, very resource intensive. Create the reports, get them set up, get them right, get the right level to the right individuals, get that shared. They become self-serving. They really do become self-serving. So, and that is a high-level introduction to Power BI, but how can we help you with m-hance? I mean, I can't stress enough the power, the potential of Power BI. You know, we've talked about BC data, CRM data. You can link Power BI to Excel, Power Apps, SQL databases, or DBC databases. And to be fair, that covers the majority of most systems within an organization that are used. Power BI can bring all this together. And our skills in Power BI, our knowledge of Power BI, our knowledge of Microsoft databases, our knowledge of CRM, our knowledge of BC, understanding where that data sits and understanding how, and Power Apps as well, understanding how everything fits together can really sort of assist you. And we're not precious of Power BI. Like I say, Power BI Desktop's a free tool. You can go and start tomorrow. But what we try and do through all of the things we do on Power BI is give organizations the ability by the end of it to be able to choose. Do they engage with us? Do they come to us for some start? Do they come to us for some information? Do they come to us for consultancy time? Or, you know, do you invest some time to get people working alongside and train so that they can take that going forward? Everything, none of the people within m-hance have been on any specific Power BI training courses with Microsoft. Some have got accreditations, absolutely, but it's all self-learned, self-taught. The skill is understanding where the data is coming from, understanding where the data sits, understanding if you have multiple sources, where your common references are, because then common references are the key critical element of joining the tables and the fields together to give you the reporting capabilities. And that's why we think Power BI and m-hance are the perfect fit. So, as I said, looking from the bottom to the top, we understand the data structures. We have accelerated the learning curve with that Power BI reporting pack for BC. That has, it's more than just the 14, 15, 16 pages that you see on the report. You get the table joins ready to go for you, and you can start playing and understanding it with an accelerated learning curve. But what we also do, you know, we do bespoke report writing. We've gone into customers, we spend call-off days, times, going in, bespoke report writing. And as part of that, then we can do the training. More and more organizations are actually moving to this, get the pack, understand it, and then move to a call-off days process where you buy a chunk of days, and either we do the work for you or we engage with you, point you in the right direction, and let you go away and build it yourself. We can do anything on it. And that then allows you as an organization to be really self-sufficient and really decide what is the most best and cost-efficient approach for you to get the best out of Power BI, whether we leave that with you, whether you come to us. You know, the training, the understanding, it's all about the level of where you want to engage with us. And we can engage with you with Power BI, with BC, and with the other systems that you've got at any level. And I think that's why, you know, a lot of customers come to us for Power BI. A lot of customers from other partners even come to us for Power BI, because we don't try and ram numerous data down your throat. We can build and work with you on Power BI over a prolonged period of time if you want. And really, I can't stress enough just how much sort of, if you adopt Power BI and adopt it correctly, how beneficial it can be for your organization and the analytics and the quick decision making within your organization as well. that's it. So thanks for bearing with me. That is a high-level introduction. We can, if you want to go into things more further, absolutely happy to. Please feel free to email me, speak to your account manager. Some recordings, I think, of previous webinars are on the site there. We're doing a number of webinars over a period of time, so please do have a look, see if anything suits. That'd be great. At the end of this as well, a survey will pop up. Please do fill that in, honestly. Any feedback's welcome. I don't take anything personally, I can tell you that. And what I believe one of the questions on there is other webinars that you may want to see in the future. So please do let us know what you want to see, what areas you want to cover. Happy to speak to anybody about Power BI at any time because I am a real champion of it, and especially how we can help with BC data. So yeah, please do feel free to fill that in as honestly as you can do, and hopefully speak to you all soon. Thank you very much for your time this morning. Thank you very much.